Mega Evolution was first introduced in Pokémon X and Y, adding temporary transformations that unleashed a Pokémon's hidden potential and elevated some species to iconic new heights. These forms weren't just power boosts, they were reimaginations of classic Pokémon with amplified designs, enhanced lore, and unmatched presence in battle. Tonight we will explore deep lore, battle facts, design origins, and everything that makes Mega Evolution one of the most beloved mechanics in the franchise. Mega Tyranitar is the embodiment of raw, mountainous power, a Pokémon whose Mega Evolution amplifies everything intimidating about its core identity. Already known as one of the most destructive pseudo-legendaries in existence, Tyranitar becomes something far more intense when exposed to Tyranitarite, almost as if the very forces that shaped mountains, deserts, and tectonic boundaries were condensed into a single creature. With its mega form, the armor plating becomes jagged and volcanic, its chest cavity opens into glowing vents of energy, and its tail segments sharpen into spiked weapons built for overwhelming force. The Pokédex describes Mega Tyranitar as being barely able to contain its enhanced power, a creature whose rage and energy exceed even its own control. This uncontrolled pressure manifests in its stance, shoulders expanded, claws digging into the ground, and dorsal spikes flaring outward like fractured stone shards. All of it forms the image of a Pokémon no longer just resembling a kaiju, but fully transforming into one. Even in its base form, Tyranitar is known for reshaping landscapes simply by walking, and Mega Evolution takes this to an extreme. The energy that radiates from its armor plates is described as seismic, meaning each step carries enough force to destabilize Earth beneath it. Some lore entries imply that Mega Tyranitar's presence is enough to trigger landslides in mountainous areas, not because it intends to, but because the surrounding geology cannot maintain stability under its heightened mass and pressure. This environmental disruption makes Mega Tyranitar one of the most dangerous Pokémon in nature, not because it's malicious, but because its very existence, while Mega evolved, becomes a geological event. That's why trainers capable of wielding this form are often considered elite. Controlling Mega Tyranitar requires incredible discipline, trust, and expertise. In competitive history, Mega Tyranitar immediately became one of the strongest offensive threats in the entire franchise upon release. Already benefiting from the Sandstream ability, which boosts its special defense, its Mega form gains a staggering increase to attack, reaching a level few other Pokémon can match. For physical attackers, hitting Mega Tyranitar head-on is almost impossible. Its natural bulk, combined with Sandstorm support, gives it absurd longevity. Dragon Dance sets became especially iconic, allowing Mega Tyranitar to sweep entire teams once it achieved a single boost. With boosted speed and world-breaking attack, it could tear through opponents with Stone Edge, Crunch, and Earthquake, turning every match into a race against time. Either you stop it early or you lose everything once it begins moving. Its versatility extended beyond offense. Mega Tyranitar could run support sets, stealth rock sets, and even specially defensive roles, making it one of the most adaptable Megas of all time. Mega Tyranitar's design itself tells a story of unstoppable power. The core diamond-shaped chest vent glows with internal energy, possibly magma-like, possibly representing condensed draconic force, and its dozens of sharp armor spikes resemble protruding mineral formations under extreme pressure. Some fans interpret the added spikes and body vents as the Pokémon undergoing an internal volcanic eruption, unable to contain the power surging through it. Its tail, thicker and spiked, becomes even more of a weapon during battle animations. The frills on its head expand outward like a crown of broken stone, symbolizing the monarch of mountains title Tyranitar often carries. Every detail reinforces the idea that Mega Tyranitar is moments away from bursting under its own might, yet remains held together through sheer ferocity. Lore suggests that Mega Evolution enhances the emotions a Pokemon already possesses. In Tyranitar's case, that emotion is something between territorial aggression and volcanic intensity. The Pokédex describes Mega Tyranitar as acting purely on destructive instinct, unable to maintain calm due to the excess energy coursing through it. This creates an interesting parallel with other Mega Evolutions whose forms are difficult to control, like Mega Garchomp or Mega Mewtwo X. Unlike some, however, Mega Tyranitar's instability isn't rooted in pain or confusion, it's rooted in overwhelming power. Trainers often describe the transformation as like awakening a sleeping mountain, suddenly alive and roaring with energy. Only the most experienced Tyranitar trainers attempt to use its mega form, knowing that control comes not from dominance, but from understanding the Pokemon's natural tendencies. The lore surrounding Tyranitar in general strengthens Mega Tyranitar's themes. Ancient myths describe Tyranitar as a Pokemon born from deep earth, formed in layers of bedrock and pressure. Its armored hide is so dense it's compared to mountain stone. With that as its elemental foundation, Mega Evolution transforms it into the extreme endpoint of geological force, an apex predator shaped from stone, time, and destructive potential. Some pieces of concept art even show Mega Tyranitar standing amidst collapsing cliffs, its glowing chest vents casting harsh shadows across shattered terrain. Fans have also noted that Mega Tyranitar resembles a volcanic eruption in silhouette, with jagged spikes radiating outward like pyroclastic debris. These interpretations make the megaform feel not just powerful, but mythic, like a force the world once feared. In the anime, while Mega Tyranitar hasn't had a major starring role, it has appeared in promotional material and minor scenes emphasizing raw physical strength. Even those short moments capture the essence of the megaform: intimidation without effort, presence without exaggeration. Across official art, posters, and video game models, Mega Tyranitar always carries the same expression: a cold, unstoppable stare, the look of a creature that has nothing left to fear. Its glowing chest is always the focal point, drawing attention to the energy that fuels its massive frame. Some theorize that the opening in its chest is a metaphorical core, suggesting Mega Evolution is tapping into something primal within Tyranitar's biology, unlocking ancient instincts buried deep beneath its rocky armor. In terms of lore relationships, Mega Tyranitar is often compared to other mountainous or kaiju-like Pokemon such as Groudon, Rhyperior, and even Regirock. Yet none embody the same combination of darkness and earth that Tyranitar does. Its dark typing enhances its mystique, emphasizing that its power isn't just physical, it's emotional and territorial. Mega Tyranitar doesn't rampage for chaos. It fights because the world around it feels too small to contain it. This aligns with how the Pokédex often portrays it, wandering through mountains, reshaping the landscape simply to suit its needs. Mega Evolution amplifies that instinct to an almost cosmic scale. Even its animations in Pokémon X and Y and Pokémon Sun and Moon reflect this intensity. When mega evolving, Tyranitar's body expands dramatically, spikes erupt outward, and the glowing energy surges through its armor. It roars with a deep, earth-shaking resonance that feels heavier than any other pseudo-legendary. During battle, its stance becomes wider and grounded, as if rooting itself like a mountain before launching into devastating slashes or rock-type attacks. No other Pokemon, not even Mega Aggron, captures the feeling of ancient geological terror as intensely as Mega Tyranitar. Perhaps the most fascinating aspect of Mega Tyranitar is how it bridges the gap between natural evolution and mythical transformation. In the real world, geological processes take millions of years, but Mega Tyranitar compresses that symbolism into a single moment. It becomes the embodiment of tectonic force, erosion, volcanic pressure, and mountain formation. Its power isn't about fire, lightning, or psychic energy. It's about weight, gravity, mass, and earth. It feels like a Pokemon that carries continents on its back, or one that could split valleys with enough momentum. For fans of kaiju films, this is the closest Pokemon has ever come to capturing that elemental grandeur. By the end of its mega transformation, Tyranitar isn't reborn, it's awakened. It becomes the purest form of its identity, a towering, jagged, unstoppable force of nature whose armor cracks with power and whose roar echoes like an earthquake. Whether used in competitive battles or admired in lore, Mega Tyranitar stands as one of the most iconic and fearsome Mega Evolutions ever created, a perfect fusion of design, mythology, and overwhelming destructive strength. Mega Lucario represents the moment when a Pokemon already known for discipline, mastery, and inner balance transforms into something far more intense, a being shaped by raw aura, sharpened instincts, and a battle awareness that borders on supernatural. When Mega Evolution was introduced in Pokémon X and Y, Lucario immediately became one of its signature species, chosen to demonstrate how Mega Evolution taps into a Pokémon's latent potential while pushing its emotional strengths and weaknesses into their most extreme form. Lucario has always been associated with aura manipulation, the ancient practice of reading and channeling life energy, but Mega Lucario takes that ability to its absolute limit. In this evolved state, Lucario no longer simply senses aura, it becomes consumed by it, amplifying every thought, emotion, and movement until the Pokemon seems to vibrate with heightened power. The visual transformation of Mega Lucario reflects this shift with striking clarity. Its fur sharpens into jagged, spiked patterns. Its aura sensors extend like antennas, and the normally controlled blue energy that flows through its body flares into vibrant red markings. These markings aren't just decorative, they represent aura overflowing beyond Lucario's ability to contain it. Even its limbs look more angular and weapon-like, showing that this is a Pokemon built for precision strikes and relentless combat. The floating dreadlock-like appendages behind its head gain red tips, giving the impression of embers or overcharged wires, a sign that Mega Lucario's power burns hotter and faster than its base form can safely control. Everything about its appearance suggests a transition from calm martial artist to awakened warrior, ignited by a surge of spiritual force. Mega Lucario's lore emphasizes that this transformation magnifies Lucario's personality traits as well. Where Lucario is calm, disciplined, and introspective, Mega Lucario can become fiercely intense, driven by an almost primal urge to fight. Several Pokédex entries mention that Mega Lucario becomes aggressive if not partnered with a trainer who can regulate its aura. This isn't because Mega Lucario is inherently violent. It's because its senses become so heightened, its emotions so sharpened, and its aura so expanded that even small stimuli can feel like threats or challenges. The bond with its trainer determines whether this overwhelming power becomes focused discipline or chaotic eruption. This idea deepens the Mega Evolution philosophy. Strength without balance is dangerous, even to the one who wields it. In battle, Mega Lucario has one of the most terrifying stat boosts in the entire Mega Evolution roster. Its attack and special attack skyrocket, its speed increases dramatically, and its ability shifts to adaptability, which doubles the power of its same type attacks. In practical terms, this means that Mega Lucario's fighting type moves like Close Combat and Aura Sphere, or its steel type moves like Bullet Punch and Flash Cannon hit significantly harder than they do for almost any other Pokemon. Its offensive pressure is so overwhelming that Mega Lucario became infamous in competitive formats, quickly earning bans from many official tiers across multiple generations. The combination of deadly precision and overwhelming force mirrors its lore. Mega Lucario is a Pokemon that becomes almost too powerful for ordinary environments. Yet beneath this sheer power lies one of the most fascinating aspects of Mega Lucario, its absolute mastery of aura. Lucario in its base form can sense emotions, anticipate opponents' movements, and communicate through aura waves. Mega Lucario elevates this ability into something closer to martial intuition. It doesn't simply read aura, it perceives it in such detail that it can predict an opponent's next move with exceptional accuracy. Some lore suggests that Mega Lucario can even track aura signatures at long distances, making it a kind of spiritual radar. The increased sensitivity is both gift and burden, amplifying Lucario's natural empathy while risking overstimulation. In this state, it becomes essential for its trainer to provide emotional grounding, something only possible with a bond strong enough to endure Mega Evolution. The aura itself changes texture in Mega Lucario's presence. Animations and official art depict it as more chaotic and flame-like, rather than smooth and wave-like. While regular Lucario shapes aura into controlled projectiles and blasts, Mega Lucario channels it like a force that bursts from its body. The move Aura Sphere, often considered Lucario's signature technique, becomes especially potent. Its lore states that the move never misses because it homes in on the opponent's aura signature. In Mega form, this homing ability becomes even stronger, suggesting that Mega Lucario accelerates the attack not by physical power, but by spiritual alignment. The aura finds the target before the body even moves. It's a concept rooted in martial arts philosophy, striking without striking, where awareness becomes more important than motion. Mega Lucario's training background deepens this connection. Many Lucario are raised in mountainous regions or isolated temples where aura mastery is a revered discipline. In ancient times, aura guardians used Lucario as spiritual partners, not just fighters. Mega Evolution revives this ancient power, transforming Lucario into something resembling the legendary aura warriors of myth. The Mega Stone itself, Lucarionite, is said to react particularly strongly to pure intent, aligning with the idea that Mega Lucario requires not just strength, but emotional clarity. In anime portrayals, trainers who push Mega Lucario too quickly often face dramatic backlash. Its aura becomes unstable, its attacks erratic, and its body struggles under the excess power. This reinforces the message that Mega Lucario's greatest strength is only accessible through inner balance. One of the most iconic portrayals of Mega Lucario comes from Pokémon X and Y, where Corina, the Chaleur City gym leader, uses a Mega Lucario as part of the storyline. Her initial inability to fully control it serves as a narrative lesson in the dangers of Mega Evolution without emotional harmony. Over time, Corina and Lucario learn to synchronize their feelings, finally achieving a stable Mega form. This storyline perfectly reflects Mega Lucario's core lore, immense power balanced by understanding, trust, and clarity. It also highlights the idea that Mega Evolution is fundamentally a relationship mechanic, a shared transformation that expresses the depth of the trainer-Pokemon bond. Physically, Mega Lucario is also far more agile than its base form. The extended aura sensors, sharpened limbs, and lighter frame give it a more aerodynamic silhouette. Its footwork becomes faster, its jumps higher, and its dodges tighter. It moves like a seasoned martial artist who has shed the last remnants of restraint. In motion, it resembles a blur of color, a streak of blue, black, and red slicing through the air. In many animations, Mega Lucario leaps into battle with explosive force, landing strikes that send shockwaves through the ground. The sheer physicality, combined with aura manipulation, makes it a hybrid between brute force and spiritual technique. Its steel, fighting typing also gains new thematic meaning in Mega form. Steel represents discipline, structure, and durability, while fighting symbolizes willpower, instinct, and motion. Mega Lucario becomes the perfect fusion of these two ideas: instinct refined by structure, and structure energized by instinct. It embodies the martial concept of mind-body unity, where spiritual focus and physical action are indistinguishable. The red aura markings emphasize this duality: red for passion and motion, blue for serenity and focus. In Mega form, both coexist in a single body, illustrating how Lucario's inner conflict becomes its greatest strength. Competitively, Mega Lucario has had one of the most influential legacies in modern Pokémon history. When it was first released, its adaptability-boosted close combat could OHKO many Pokémon that resisted the move. Its sword stance and nasty plot sets allowed it to dominate both physical and special categories. Opponents often found themselves unable to switch safely into anything Mega Lucario did, because even non-stab moves became lethal with its boosted stats. This dominance led to widespread restrictions, making Mega Lucario a symbol of how powerful Mega Evolution could be at its peak. Its banning from several formats only increased its legacy. It became known as a Pokémon too strong for balanced play. Yet despite its overwhelming power, Mega Lucario's lore always circles back to its emotional foundation. It is not power for the sake of destruction. It is power born of spiritual awakening. Mega Evolution pushes Lucario to confront its inner intensity, and only through its connection with its trainer can that intensity be focused into something positive. In this sense, Mega Lucario teaches the central Mega Evolution lesson. The strongest transformations come from emotional harmony, not brute force. There is also a philosophical dimension to Mega Lucario. In various Pokédex entries and cultural materials, aura is described as the life energy of all living beings. Lucario is one of the few Pokémon capable of perceiving it. Mega Evolution magnifies this ability to the point where Mega Lucario stands at the boundary between physical and spiritual worlds. It fights not just with muscle or technique, but with the very essence of life energy itself. That idea transforms Mega Lucario from a powerful Pokémon into a mythic figure, a warrior of aura whose strength comes from understanding the world at its deepest level. The red highlights on its fur also deepen its visual storytelling. Red is often associated with intensity, urgency, and passion, all traits amplified in Mega Lucario. Meanwhile, the lingering blue in its design represents the discipline it carries from its base form. The clash of red and blue marks a Pokémon at the peak of inner conflict, channeling two opposing energies into a single violent harmony. This conflict is present in its lore as well. Mega Lucario is said to fight with such fervor that it risks losing control unless guided properly. That risk gives Mega Lucario depth, turning it from a simple power-boosted form into a nuanced character study about mastery and restraint. Ancient Aura Guardians, referenced throughout the franchise, are often depicted working alongside Lucario. Mega Lucario's design seems intentionally reminiscent of these mysterious warriors, perhaps suggesting that Mega Evolution connects Lucario to an ancestral lineage of aura wielders. Some fans speculate that Mega Lucario's aggressive behavior reflects the battles of ancient times, eras when aura warriors fought with unrivaled intensity. In that sense, Mega Evolution may awaken dormant instincts encoded in Lucario's lineage. Its Mega form becomes not just a physical upgrade, but a cultural memory resurfaced through spiritual energy. Despite its inherent intensity, Mega Lucario is not portrayed as cruel. Its aggression is instinctual, not malicious. When bonded with a capable trainer, Mega Lucario becomes one of the most loyal and dependable Pokémon in existence. Its heightened senses allow it to protect its allies before danger even arrives. It can intercept threats by reading aura disturbances, acting as both warrior and sentinel. Many depictions show Mega Lucario standing between its trainer and incoming danger, aura flaring like a shield. Even at its most powerful, its primary instinct is protection, not conquest. That protective nature is also reflected in how Mega Lucario interacts with other Pokémon. While many Pokémon fear its overwhelming aura, others instinctively trust it. In the anime, Riolu often looked to Lucario and Mega Lucario as mentors, drawn to their mastery of aura. This dynamic suggests that Mega Lucario isn't just a powerful fighter, it's a symbol of what Riolu aspired to become. The aura lineage forms a kind of spiritual mentorship chain, with Mega Lucario serving as the ultimate expression of what the species can achieve. In the end, Mega Lucario stands as one of the most thematically rich and universally recognized Mega Evolutions. It combines martial arts philosophy, spiritual lore, emotional storytelling, and overwhelming battle prowess into a single evolved form. It represents the triumph of discipline over chaos, the balance of instinct and wisdom, and the power of bonds that allow even the strongest energy to be shaped with purpose. Its legacy is enduring not just because it is strong, but because it embodies what Mega Evolution was created to celebrate: the extraordinary potential that emerges when trainer and Pokémon reach absolute unity. Mega Blaziken stands as one of the most defining and influential Mega Evolutions ever introduced, a Pokémon whose transformation did more than strengthen an existing species. It reshaped the competitive landscape and cemented an already iconic starter into one of the most feared offensive threats in the entire franchise. When Mega Evolutions debuted in Pokémon X and Y, many players immediately recognized that some existing Pokémon would be elevated with dramatic stat increases or entirely new abilities. But few expected Mega Blaziken to become the gold standard of what a Mega Evolution could feel like. It was fast, powerful, stylish, and brutally efficient, the kind of Pokémon whose presence alone demanded an immediate strategy, or else the opponent was in danger before the first turn even played out. Mega Blaziken didn't just become stronger, it became a symbol of how Mega Evolution could transform a familiar Pokémon into something legendary. Blaziken already had a reputation before receiving its Mega Evolution. Introduced in Generation 3, it was one of the first fully evolved fire, fighting-type starters, and quickly became known for its unique blend of physical power and agility. But while the original Blaziken was strong, it wasn't until Generation 5's Dream World abilities introduced Speed Boost that the Pokémon truly broke into the competitive spotlight. Speed Boost allowed Blaziken to gain a speed increase at the end of every turn, gradually turning it from a respectable attacker into a terrifying sweeper capable of outrunning nearly every Pokémon in the game after only a few turns. When Mega Evolution arrived, Game Freak doubled down on that level of dominance. Mega Blaziken retained Speed Boost, gained massive boosts to both attack and speed, and received a bold new design that perfectly captured the intensity of its upgraded power. It wasn't subtle, and it wasn't meant to be. Mega Blaziken was a statement. The design of Mega Blaziken captures motion even while standing still. Its feathers sharpen into flame-like patterns, its legs flare with burning energy, and its mask becomes sharper and more defined. This new form emphasizes the idea of momentum. Blaziken isn't just a fighter, it's a living torch, burning hotter and striking faster with every moment that passes. The flames erupting from its wrists intensify. Its stance widens into that of a seasoned martial artist, and its silhouette becomes even more intimidating. Everything about the design screams escalation, faster kicks, stronger punches, and a presence that feels like an anime protagonist entering its final form. Many fans consider Mega Blaziken one of the best Mega designs in the entire franchise because it retains everything about Blaziken's original identity while amplifying it to match its new legendary level status. Statistically, Mega Blaziken's transformation is extraordinary. Its attack stat jumps to overwhelming levels, allowing it to break through even the toughest defensive Pokémon with moves like Flare Blitz, High Jump Kick, and Brave Bird. Its speed, already strong, becomes blisteringly fast once Speed Boost starts kicking in. Mega Blaziken has one of the best offensive typings a Mega Evolution could ask for: Fire, Fighting, a combination that destroys Steel-type Pokémon, traditionally some of the bulkiest resistors in competitive play, while also hitting Ice, Dark, Grass, and normal Pokémon for heavy damage. Every part of Mega Blaziken's kit works together to create a sweeping powerhouse with very few safe counters. Its weaknesses are there, of course. Water, flying, and psychic moves can drop it quickly, but getting the chance to strike Mega Blaziken before it moves is usually the hardest part. The influence Mega Blaziken had on competitive formats was immediate and dramatic. Regular Blaziken had already been banned to Ubers in Generation 5 due to Speed Boost, making it too oppressive, but Mega Blaziken pushed that dominance even further. Many players consider it one of the strongest non-legendary Pokémon ever created, with a level of offensive pressure that forces entire teams to be built around stopping it. In Ubers, where monsters like Arceus, Rayquaza, and Mewtwo roam freely, Mega Blaziken still earns a place. Its combination of sweeping potential, coverage, and the ability to snowball speed makes it a horrifying late-game cleaner. Even Pokémon designed specifically to counter it, like physically defensive Landorus Therian or bulky water types, risk being overwhelmed if Mega Blaziken catches a single opportunity to boost or predict correctly. That competitive success has also created a unique reputation for Mega Blaziken among fans. It feels like a Mega Evolution that delivers on every promise: stronger, cooler, flashier, and undeniably powerful. Some Mega Evolutions are subtle, focusing on aesthetics or minor stat improvements, but Mega Blaziken is pure spectacle. It's a transformation that feels earned by the Pokémon's identity. Blaziken was already known for its martial arts inspiration, its fiery kicks, and its relentless spirit. Mega Blaziken simply elevates all of that to its natural extreme. Blaziken's signature moves also feel amplified in Mega form. Blaze Kick becomes more explosive, fitting the image of a Pokémon whose legs burn hotter with every step. Flare Blitz becomes one of the strongest fire-type attacks available, turning Mega Blaziken into a literal missile of flame with every strike. High Jump Kick becomes a devastatingly risky but powerful attack that can destroy opponents who don't resist fighting. Even utility moves like Swords Dance synergize perfectly with Speed Boost, making Mega Blaziken one of the scariest sweepers after a single boost to both attack and speed. It's the kind of Pokemon that doesn't just win battles, it closes them decisively, leaving little room for opponents to recover. Mega Blaziken's lore also deepens its identity. The Mega Evolution description mentions that when it absorbs Mega Energy, its fighting spirit burns intensely, and its kicks become powerful enough to shatter boulders with ease. The flames burning from its wrists reach extreme heat, and its entire body channels that energy into its strikes. It's a Pokemon whose strength directly mirrors its resolve. That fits perfectly with Blaziken's established lore, a Pokemon known for rising from defeat stronger than ever, its flames reigniting with passion and determination. Mega Evolution simply pushes that inner fire beyond its natural limits. Anime appearances helped shape that identity as well. In the Pokemon X, Y, and Z arc, Mega Blaziken appears in dynamic, cinematic battles, showcasing just how fast and powerful it truly is. The animation emphasizes speed blurs, explosive fire trails, and martial arts choreography that makes Mega Blaziken look unstoppable. It's one of the few Mega Evolutions that truly feels like its power translates seamlessly from game to anime, and its clashes with other high-tier Megas remain fan favorites. Mega Blaziken also holds the distinction of being one of the earliest Megas showcased to the public, long before Pokémon X and Y released. Blaziken was given a special event distribution in those games, where trainers could receive a speed boost Torchic that eventually could become Mega Blaziken. This event created massive hype, not just because Blaziken was beloved, but because Game Freak used it to demonstrate the core concept of Mega Evolution, giving certain Pokemon a chance to transcend their limits. Mega Blaziken set the tone for the entire mechanic, showing that Mega Evolutions were designed to redefine power levels and bring fan-favorite Pokemon back into top competitive relevance. And yet, for all its dominance, Mega Blaziken remains surprisingly elegant in its mechanics. It doesn't rely on gimmicks like ability changes or new typings. It simply amplifies what Blaziken already excelled at. More speed, more power, more momentum. It's a perfect evolution in the thematic sense. Even its inspiration, a fiery martial artist hero, feels elevated. Mega Blaziken looks like a final form protagonist straight out of a shonen anime, complete with aura-like flames and superhuman agility. One of the most fascinating aspects of Mega Blaziken is how differently it plays depending on the strategy being used. Aggressive players can treat it as a sweeper, setting up with Swords Dance, and then ripping through teams once speed boost stacks. More strategic players can use its surprisingly strong coverage to pick off specific threats that block team synergy, and some even use Mega Blaziken as a mid-game breaker, forcing opponents to weaken their walls before another sweeper finishes the job. Its versatility is part of why it remains one of the most respected Megas ever created. Over the years, as new generations have come and gone, Mega Blaziken's reputation hasn't faded. Even though Mega Evolutions are currently absent from modern games like Scarlet and Violet, fans continue to celebrate Mega Blaziken as one of the peak examples of the system. Its design, power, and overall execution are frequently cited by fans who want Mega Evolutions to return. There's a universal agreement that Mega Blaziken felt like a Mega Evolution, a dramatic, meaningful transformation that could stand alongside legendary Pokemon without feeling out of place. Looking back, Mega Blaziken represents a perfect storm of design, lore, and gameplay synergy. It took an already loved Pokemon and turned it into something iconic, a fiery martial artist whose speed increases every moment it remains in battle, a creature whose power reflects both discipline and raw heat, and a Mega Evolution that truly feels like an evolution in every sense of the word. It's fast, it's fierce, and it's unforgettable. And even years later, few Mega Evolutions have reached the same level of competitive impact, fan appreciation, and thematic clarity as Mega Blaziken. Mega Venusaur represents one of the most complete and fully realized examples of what Mega Evolution was designed to embody. Not just more power, but a deeper, more refined form of an already iconic Pokémon. When Mega Evolution debuted in Pokémon X and Y, Venusaur immediately stood out among the Kanto trio because unlike the explosive changes of Mega Charizard or the battle-armored transformations of Mega Blastoise, Mega Venusaur's upgrade felt like a natural extension of its existing strengths. Instead of reinventing its silhouette, Mega Evolution made Venusaur more stable, more resilient, and more grounded, turning it into a living fortress of vines, petals, and botanical power. One of the first things players noticed was how Mega Venusaur's plant life thickened and expanded. The petals around its central flower grew broader and richer in color, spreading outward like solar collectors designed to maximize energy absorption. Its back plant became sturdier, supported by an intricate network of vines that reinforce its structure like natural scaffolding. The flower itself, massive and blooming with intense color, appears more mature than its base form, as if reaching the pinnacle of its botanical life cycle. The vines wrapped around its body grew denser, giving the creature an almost ancient, guardian-like appearance, an embodiment of nature not just surviving, but flourishing. The most important mechanical change in Mega Venusaur's transformation was the addition of thick fat as its ability. With this, Mega Venusaur suddenly became resistant to two of its biggest weaknesses, fire and ice. This instantly reshaped how players viewed it competitively. What was once a Pokémon vulnerable to offensive pressure became almost immovable, turning into a defensive anchor capable of standing up to top-tier threats across multiple generations. In competitive play, Mega Venusaur became a staple on bulky offensive teams, balance teams, and even stall teams, where its combination of bulk, sustain, and typing allowed it to function as one of the most dependable Pokémon ever associated with Mega Evolution. Mega Venusaur's stat increases followed the same philosophy of refinement. Instead of spiking dramatically in one area, its boosts spread evenly, enhancing its durability, improving its offense, and making it a more reliable user of mixed defensive roles. Its base defensive stats, already solid, became exceptional. Its HP remained the same, but its defense and special defense rose to some of the best in the Mega category. This meant Mega Venusaur didn't have to choose between tanking physical hits or absorbing special attacks. It could do both, and often in the same match. These changes effectively turned Mega Venusaur into one of the few Pokémon that could enter battle repeatedly without losing momentum. Mega Venusaur's move pool supported this defensive perfection. Classic moves like Leech Seed, Synthesis, Sleep Powder, and Giga Drain all synergized beautifully with its Mega form. Its ability to sustain itself over long periods made it difficult for opponents to wear it down. Even as power creep increased and faster, stronger Pokémon entered the scene. Mega Venusaur retained its identity as one of the most stubborn Pokémon to knock out. Its access to Sludge Bomb also gave it reliable, high-damage stab coverage against fairy types, which exploded in popularity during the 6th generation. This kept Venusaur relevant both offensively and defensively, a rare balance for a Mega Evolution. Design-wise, Mega Venusaur's subtle changes are part of what make it so effective. Mega Evolutions were often flashy dragon wings, glowing armor, new head crests, but Venusaur's transformation leaned heavily into realism. The added bloom and extra flora make it resemble a mature rainforest creature, a living relic of a prehistoric world where plant and animal life fused into powerful hybrids. The markings on its face deepen, giving it a more seasoned expression, something akin to a guardian who has spent years growing strong under the sun. Little touches, like the thicker legs and sturdier stance, reinforce that this Pokemon wasn't built for violence, but for enduring nature itself. The relationship between Venusaur and its plant is a central theme in its mega form. As Venusaur grows stronger, its symbiotic flower does too. The weight of the plant becomes part of its identity, a burden that would crush any lesser creature, but one Venusaur carries with ease. This symbolism fits with Venusaur's role as a traditional starter, a Pokemon that grows alongside the player, blooming into something powerful not instantly, but through patience and care. Mega Venusaur's design reinforces that evolution does not always mean dramatic change. Sometimes it means becoming more grounded, more stable, and more in harmony with your environment. Mega Venusaur's lore hints that the energy from the Mega Stone enhances the natural chemicals produced by its flower. This explains why its toxins become more potent, why its aroma becomes more intense, and why its petals appear to radiate with soft, natural energy. Some Pokédex entries mention that Venusaur's flower reacts to sunlight by strengthening both the plant and the creature itself. Under Mega Evolution, this synergy peaks its petals spreading wider, its color deepening, its ability to photosynthesize more efficiently than any normal Venusaur. The Mega form embodies the biological concept of hypergrowth, where a species temporarily enters an accelerated evolutionary state. In terms of symbolism, Mega Venusaur often represents nature in balance. Its design doesn't imply aggression or dominance. Instead, it evokes the quiet power of ecosystems, the strength of forests, the resilience of plant life, and the idea that growth can be a form of power. Unlike the raw energy of Mega Blaziken or the overwhelming strength of Mega Tyranitar, Mega Venusaur symbolizes endurance and harmony, themes that connect deeply with players who choose it as their starter. It stands tall not as a predator but as a guardian, and its Mega form reinforces that role perfectly. In the anime, Mega Venusaur appeared only briefly, but its portrayal matched its in-game personality. It was depicted as slow-moving but wise, incredibly strong, and capable of anchoring a battle simply by existing. This made it a visual counterpart to Mega Charizard and Mega Blastoise during appearances in promotional material and special battles. While those two represented elemental force and engineered power, Mega Venusaur represented biological mastery, the strength that comes from nature rather than raw aggression. Among fans, Mega Venusaur is remembered as one of the most competitively viable Megas ever created, not because of explosive power, but because of consistency. It anchored entire team structures. It shut down popular attackers like Keldeo, Mawile, Azumarill, Breloom, and even Charizard Y with the right support. It became synonymous with reliable tank, a role few Pokemon have ever executed better. Many competitive players still consider Mega Venusaur one of the most perfectly balanced Megas, designed with precision and respect for the original Pokemon's strengths. Even now, long after Mega Evolution was phased out in modern Pokemon games, Mega Venusaur remains one of the most iconic examples of what Megas were capable of achieving. Many fans hope for its return, specifically because it filled a niche that Dynamax, Z-moves, and terrestrialization cannot replicate. Mega Venusaur wasn't about sudden bursts of power, it was about long-term presence, battlefield control, and winning through quiet, methodical dominance. Thematically, Mega Venusaur embodies growth, not just literal growth through its massive flower, but the emotional growth players feel when choosing Bulbasaur as a starter and watching it evolve. Its Mega form represents the final stage of that journey, a beautifully complete Pokemon, thriving under the power of sunlight, grounded by vines and earth, and elevated through a natural, organic transformation. No other Mega Evolution feels as biologically authentic or environmentally connected. It is nature perfected. Mega Venusaur's role in the legacy of Pokémon is secure not because it reinvented the franchise, but because it proved something simple and powerful. Not all strength comes from loud changes or dramatic reinvention. Some of the strongest transformations come from expanding what was already strong, deepening what already worked, and honoring what made a Pokémon special in the first place. Mega Venusaur is proof that evolution can be subtle, elegant, and enduring, and still be unforgettable. Mega Evolution reshapes Blastoise in a way that feels inevitable the moment you see it. The quiet powerhouse becomes a full artillery platform, a living embodiment of precision and controlled force. When Megastones were introduced in Pokémon X and Y, many fans wondered which classic Pokémon would benefit most from this new mechanic, and Blastoise instantly stood out as the perfect candidate. Its design had always hinted at weaponized water pressure, and Mega Blastoise takes that concept to its absolute extreme. The moment it Mega evolves with the Blastoisinite, the two iconic shell cannons merge into a single massive central cannon mounted along its spine, accompanied by two smaller arm cannons that give it a complete three-point firing system. The transformation is dramatic, but not chaotic. Every part of Mega Blastoise's new form feels designed for efficiency and calculated power. This emphasis on controlled force is reflected in Mega Blastoise's enhanced ability, Mega Launcher. While ordinary Blastoise already excels in manipulating high-pressure water, Mega Launcher boosts the power of all pulse-based attacks, transforming them into devastating long-range weapons. Moves like Water Pulse, Aura Sphere, Dark Pulse, and Dragon Pulse become far more threatening under Mega Launcher's amplification. This creates a version of Blastoise that doesn't just rely on raw water pressure. It becomes a specialist in precision energy fire, firing beams and pulses with concentrated accuracy. Mega Launcher effectively turns Blastoise into one of the strongest ranged attackers in the Mega roster, and its design reflects that intention perfectly. The large central cannon on Mega Blastoise's back is capable of firing water jets with enough pressure to pulverize steel plating. According to in-universe descriptions, Mega Blastoise can launch projectiles, whether water, compressed air, or pulse-based energy, at Mach speeds, meaning its primary cannon is operating on the level of a high-powered artillery railgun. The two arm cannons, while smaller, rotate with incredible flexibility, allowing Mega Blastoise to shift its aim rapidly without adjusting its stance. This combination of stability and mobility makes it a uniquely adaptable fighter, able to defend itself at close range while directing finishing blasts from its primary cannon. Despite this overwhelming firepower, Mega Blastoise doesn't lose the calm, disciplined personality that defines its base form. If anything, the Mega Evolution enhances those traits. Blastoise has always been portrayed as a Pokémon that fights with deliberation rather than recklessness, choosing its moments, analyzing its opponent, and using power only when necessary. In its Mega form, this sense of discipline turns into something closer to battlefield strategy. Mega Blastoise observes its environment, uses its cannons to control distance, and creates pressure through accuracy rather than flurries of attacks. It becomes a Pokémon that embodies tactical power, not just brute strength. One of the most interesting aspects of Mega Blastoise's design is how it maintains its identity while shifting entirely into an offensive specialization. While Mega Venusaur and Mega Charizard each enhance their symbolic elements, durability for Venusaur, firepower for Charizard, Mega Blastoise transforms into something more mechanical but not unnatural. Its cannons, while larger and more complex, still look like biological extensions rather than metal implants. This creates a harmonious design where the Mega Evolution feels like the ultimate expression of Blastoise's natural fighting style, not a deviation from it. It suggests that this level of firepower was always within Blastoise. Mega Evolution simply awakens it. In competitive battles, Mega Blastoise became known for its role as a tanky special attacker with formidable flexibility. Its boosted special attack allows it to break through walls that regular Blastoise struggles with, while its improved defensive stats keep it on the field long enough to unleash multiple bursts of pulse-based attacks. Moves like Aura Sphere gain special significance thanks to Mega Launcher, allowing Mega Blastoise to counter Steel and Dark types more effectively. Dark Pulse provided excellent coverage, particularly against Psychic-type Pokémon that might otherwise threaten a Water-type's stability. And of course, Water Pulse became a surprisingly strong stab option, with its confusion chance making it even more valuable. One of Mega Blastoise's greatest strengths was the way it combined utility with offense. Its access to moves like Rapid Spin allowed it to clear hazards while still posing major damage threats, a combination rare among offensive Mega Pokémon. Trainers appreciated that they didn't have to sacrifice bulk or utility to use Mega Blastoise effectively. It remained versatile even while specialized. Its bulk allowed it to take hits, its Mega Launcher gave it destructive potential, and its natural move pool let it play roles ranging from wall breaker to hazard control to mixed offense. This adaptability is why Mega Blastoise found a comfortable niche in competitive formats even long after Mega Evolutions had matured. In the anime, while Mega Blastoise didn't receive as much spotlight as some other Mega Evolutions, its appearances were memorable. When used by notable characters, Mega Blastoise was often portrayed as unshakably calm, the kind of Pokémon that stands firm no matter what attacks are directed at it. Its central cannon produced visually striking bursts of blue energy, emphasizing that Mega Evolution unlocked a new layer of power. These portrayals reinforce the idea that Mega Blastoise isn't a chaotic berserker, it's a tactical powerhouse, using strength efficiently and confidently. In the Pokémon Adventures manga, Mega Blastoise had a more pronounced presence, where its firepower was showcased in dramatic battle scenes. The manga highlighted just how much destructive potential the Mega Launcher cannon possessed, with blasts capable of carving through rock and deflecting large-scale attacks. The depiction leaned heavily into Mega Blastoise's artillery role, reinforcing the theme that its Mega Evolution represents the pinnacle of ranged combat among water types. Mega Blastoise's concept also connects deeply to Blastoise's long legacy in the franchise. Ever since its introduction in Generation 1, Blastoise has been associated with the idea of heavy weaponry and defensive fortitude. Its cannons were an iconic part of Pokémon's original identity, appearing prominently in promotional art, guidebooks, and early merchandise. When Mega Evolution was introduced decades later, enhancing those cannons felt like a natural progression rather than reinvention. Mega Blastoise is a tribute to that original design philosophy, a reminder that certain Pokémon were destined for even more impressive forms once the mechanics existed to support them. Another fascinating element of Mega Blastoise's lore is the implication that its cannons are not simply enlarged versions of its base form weapons. They represent an anatomical evolution. Muscles wrap around the cannon system, stabilizing recoil, while its shell expands to accommodate increased internal pressure. Mega Blastoise isn't just firing water. It's firing compressed hydro energy at such velocity that the blast itself becomes almost element neutral. This explains why pulse moves, Not just water-type attacks gain such a significant boost with Mega Launcher. The Mega Evolution enhances Blastoise's ability to project energy, not just liquid, making it a true specialist in ranged combat. Mega Blastoise's personality and lore remains consistent with its usual demeanor. It remains protective of its trainer and allies, but in Mega form, its confidence intensifies. This is not a reckless confidence, but a refined one, the awareness that its power can change the tide of battle if used correctly. Mega Blastoise often stands still while preparing attacks, striking a pose that resembles a fortress taking aim. This visual reinforces its thematic identity, unmovable presence paired with overwhelming precision. Despite its intimidating weaponry, Mega Blastoise is respected not only for its strength, but for its discipline. Unlike destructive forces such as Guzzlord or legendary Pokémon known for collateral damage, Mega Blastoise channels its power with remarkable focus. Its cannon blasts are calculated, not explosive. Its strikes are intentional, not wild. This makes it one of the most controlled, powerful Pokémon in the Mega roster, a creature that understands its own strength and uses it responsibly. Fans often praise Mega Blastoise for how effectively it preserves the essence of Blastoise while elevating it. Mega evolutions sometimes change Pokémon drastically, but Mega Blastoise represents the ideal version of the concept, an evolution that enhances identity rather than replaces it. Its design feels nostalgic yet modern, powerful yet refined. For many longtime fans, it became the definitive Blastoise form, a culmination of everything that made the original beloved. And although Mega Evolution is no longer a core mechanic in the newest mainline games, Mega Blastoise remains culturally significant. It appears prominently in Pokémon Masters EX, merchandise, and promotional art, maintaining its role as one of the franchise's iconic powerhouses. It symbolizes mastery through control, force through discipline, and evolution through refinement. Mega Kangaskhan represents one of the most creative and thematically elegant Mega Evolutions ever introduced, because instead of transforming the mother, the Mega form reveals the awakening of the baby that has been carried in her pouch since Generation 1. When Mega Evolution was introduced in Pokémon X and Y, players immediately noticed how the mechanic emphasized teamwork, synergy, and emotional connection between trainer and Pokémon. Mega Kangaskhan took that idea to an entirely new level by focusing the transformation not on heightened aggression or a dramatic redesign, but on the familial bond that defines the species. The baby, normally sheltered and protected, suddenly steps forward with determination and joins its mother in battle. It is one of the rare Mega Evolutions where the lore and the gameplay mechanic are inseparable. The two fight together, strike together, and experience victory together. The biggest mechanical change that comes with Mega Kangaskhan is its signature ability, Parental Bond. When Mega Evolution triggers, Kangaskhan doesn't gain a devastating aura or armor-like plating, it gains a partner. Parental Bond causes every damaging move to hit twice, with the second strike landing at scaled power. This ability immediately changed the competitive landscape when it debuted, because it allowed Mega Kangaskhan to break through defensive cores, bypass focus sashes, disrupt substitute strategies, and consistently chip away at opponents even through resistances. While most Megas focused on raw stat boosts, Mega Kangaskhan's power came from a new, innovative mechanic that showcased what made the species special. The baby Pokémon, now capable of independent movement, adds its own follow-up strike to every attack, turning Kangaskhan into one of the most feared offensive Megas in early Generation 6 formats. The design of Mega Kangaskhan is subtle, especially compared to other dramatic Mega forms, but that subtlety is intentional. The mother looks nearly identical to her normal appearance, strong, grounded, confident, but the biggest change is the baby taking a more active role. It climbs out of the pouch, stands proudly next to her, and mirrors her determined expression. Its claws sharpen, its posture becomes firmer, and its eyes show resolve. This redesign communicates a powerful narrative. The bond between parent and child becomes a shared force, and the baby's trust in its mother empowers it to step into battle without fear. For a franchise built on themes of friendship, partnership, and growth, Mega Kangaskhan stands out as one of the most emotionally meaningful forms. The lore surrounding Kangaskhan has always been full of mystery. Even in the earliest Pokédex entries, the species was depicted as fiercely protective, raising its child in its pouch until it was strong enough to fend for itself. The identity of the baby, whether it grows into a normal Kangaskhan, whether it evolves, and whether it has hidden forms, has been the subject of Pokémon speculation for nearly 3 decades. Mega Kangaskhan doesn't answer those questions directly, but it adds a new layer to the mythos by showing that the baby is not helpless. It is capable, confident, and ready to stand beside its mother. In many ways, Mega Evolution symbolizes a rite of passage for the young Pokémon, marking the first moment it participates in the world outside the safety of the pouch. Statistically, Mega Kangaskhan gains boosts that emphasize its role as a physical attacker. It retains strong bulk, allowing it to survive hits and maintain pressure for extended periods, while its attack rises high enough to take advantage of Parental Bond's double strike synergy. Moves like Return, Power-Up Punch, Low Kick, Earthquake, and Fake Out became staples of its competitive presence. Power-Up Punch, in particular, was a devastating tool because each hit of Parental Bond applied the attack boost, allowing Mega Kangaskhan to gain multiple stage increases in a single turn. This interaction was so strong that competitive formats eventually restricted or banned it to preserve balance. Mega Kangaskhan remains one of the most influential megas of all time because of how thoroughly it reshaped the early Generation 6 metagame. Visually, Mega Kangaskhan's most iconic detail is the mother's unwavering stance. Many Mega Evolutions emphasize aggression with sharpened edges, glowing energy, or wild silhouettes. Mega Kangaskhan, however, conveys strength through stability. The mother looks sturdier, more grounded, and more protective than ever. The baby mirrors that confidence with an expression full of determination. Together, they create a sense of unity that no other Pokémon shares. A dual presence. 2 hearts beating with the same rhythm, 2 sets of claws poised to strike. The design team behind the Megas wanted every form to reflect something meaningful about the species, and Mega Kangaskhan arguably captures its essence better than any other. In the anime, Mega Kangaskhan has appeared as a symbol of familial devotion. Its Mega Evolution scenes focus on the relationship between mother and child, rather than on raw, destructive power. Whenever the baby jumps into battle, the mother shifts her stance protectively, making sure her child never becomes overwhelmed. Even in combat, the emotional depth of their bond is portrayed clearly. The baby doesn't act recklessly, it echoes the mother's movements, striking in perfect synchronization. This symmetry reinforces the idea that Mega Evolution strengthens relationships rather than transforming bodies. Thematically, Mega Kangaskhan touches on one of Pokemon's oldest ideas: growth through support. The baby grows stronger because of the mother's guidance, and the mother fights more fiercely because her child inspires her. This dual empowerment makes Mega Kangaskhan's narrative unusually rich. Unlike many Mega Evolutions that depict singular transformation, Mega Kangaskhan represents a shared evolution. 2 Pokemon evolve in spirit even though only one triggers the Mega Stone. This blending of roles makes it unique among megas and gives it a deeper sense of personality. Even the mega stone associated with it, the Kangaskhanite, has lore implications. Found in Kalos, a region known for its deep history with Mega Evolution, the stone is said to react to emotional bonds. For Kangaskhan, a species defined by its parental connection, the trigger is especially meaningful. The energy released during Mega Evolution doesn't change the mother's form dramatically, but instead energizes the baby, granting it confidence and power. This suggests that the bond between them is so strong that when the mother evolves, the child evolves emotionally alongside her. It is one of the few Mega Evolutions where the stone activates a relationship rather than a transformation. In competitive formats beyond singles, Mega Kangaskhan was equally prominent. In doubles and VGC, parental bond turned Fake Out into a terrifying momentum tool, delivering 2 flinches worth of pressure, one for damage and one for disruption. Even though the second flinch effect did not apply, the double damage made Fake Out the strongest opening turn option in the format. Combined with wide coverage and great bulk, Mega Kangaskhan became one of the most centralizing forces in VGC's history. Teams were built specifically to counter it, and even then, success wasn't guaranteed. Trainers respected its ability to pressure defensive cores while supporting offensive partners through intimidating presence alone. Despite its overwhelming power in battle, the lore of Mega Kangaskhan never frames it as frightening or dangerous. Instead, it is portrayed as protective. Its aggression is reserved entirely for situations where its child or trainer is threatened. This aligns perfectly with the core personality of normal Kangaskhan, whose Pokédex entries consistently emphasize compassion, protectiveness, and maternal instinct. Mega Evolution doesn't corrupt those traits, it elevates them. When Kangaskhan Mega evolves, its focus becomes sharper, its protective energy more intense, and its connection to its child unbreakable. The baby's newfound independence in Mega form has led to many fun observations. Some fans interpret Mega Kangaskhan as a glimpse into the future, what the baby might fight like when fully grown. Others see it as a symbolic step toward maturity, a moment of courage where the child finally participates in the world instead of being shielded from it. The games never confirm whether the baby becomes a regular Kangaskhan, but Mega Evolution adds depth to that mystery by showing that it has the instincts and abilities of a fighter long before adulthood. In terms of world building, Mega Kangaskhan also highlights the emotional consequences of Mega Evolution. Where other megas depict dramatic physical or elemental transformation, Mega Kangaskhan suggests that emotional bonds have just as much evolutionary power as physical traits. This deepens the understanding of Mega Evolution within Pokémon lore, showing that the mechanic isn't exclusively rooted in power amplification, but can also be connected to relationships, support systems, and emotional resonance. Mega Kangaskhan's battle cry, in its Mega form, has a subtle dual-layer effect, one cry from the mother and one from the baby. This auditory detail reinforces their teamwork. Even outside of battle, idle animations show them communicating through small gestures and movements. The baby hops with excitement, mimicking the mother's stance, while Kangaskhan lowers her body to shield her child instinctively. These subtle moments give the Megaform remarkable depth and personality. The competitive legacy of Mega Kangaskhan is vast. It defined much of early Generation 6's structure, forcing the creation of entirely new strategies and counters. Moves like Rocky Helmet, burning status applications, and even ghost-type pivots became essential in formats where Mega Kangaskhan could otherwise steamroll entire teams. Eventually, many competitive organizations restricted or banned it to preserve balance, solidifying its place in history as one of the strongest and most influential Mega Evolutions ever created. But despite its power, the emotional core of Mega Kangaskhan is what continues to resonate with players years later. It is a celebration of family, courage, and connection. The baby fighting alongside its mother is one of the most heartfelt visual metaphors in the entire Mega Evolution system. It transforms battle from a solitary effort into a partnership, echoing the central theme of the Pokémon franchise. That strength comes from bonds, trust, and shared experience. Mega Kangaskhan doesn't roar its strength, it demonstrates it through unity. And in a world full of dragons, titans, and mythical beings, sometimes the greatest power comes from something as simple and profound as a parent and child standing together. Mega Gengar is one of the most striking transformations in the entire Mega Evolution lineup, a form that amplifies everything eerie, unpredictable, and unsettling about Gengar's core design. When Mega Evolution was introduced in Pokémon X and Y, many players wondered how a Pokémon already known for slipping between shadows and delighting in mischief would transform. The answer was far more dramatic than anyone expected. Mega Gengar becomes a creature that seems partially fused with the floor, anchored by an ominous seal of energy, its body more spectral than ever before. What was once a floating prankster becomes a stationary but more terrifying presence, one that seems to rise from the underworld itself. The most immediately notable detail is Mega Gengar's expression. Unlike Gengar's usual mischievous smile, Mega Gengar's grin is sharp and almost sinister, showing a more predatory confidence. Its third eye, an unmistakable new feature, glows with intense psychic or ghostly energy. Official lore and Pokédex entries imply that this eye allows Mega Gengar to perceive the world around it with absolute clarity, detecting life force and movement even through walls or physical barriers. It gives Mega Gengar a near omniscient awareness, making escape from it almost impossible when it truly wants to pursue someone or something. This overwhelming presence ties into Mega Gengar's defining trait, its unyielding commitment to its trainer. While many fans portray Mega Gengar as malicious, the lore emphasizes that its almost obsessive fixation comes from devotion, not cruelty. When Mega Gengar senses its trainer's emotions, it mirrors them so intensely that it becomes intensely motivated to act on their desires. This bond can border on frightening not because Gengar intends harm, but because its loyalty manifests as extreme determination. It wants to please, to protect, to act, and Mega Evolution removes any internal restraint that once kept those urges playful and harmless. Mega Gengar's typing remains pure ghost, but its abilities take a massive leap with its signature Mega ability, Shadow Tag. This is one of the most potent abilities in all of Pokémon. Shadow Tag prevents opposing Pokémon from switching out, effectively trapping them on the field with Mega Gengar. In competitive settings, this has historically pushed Mega Gengar into extremely high power rankings, even leading to bans in certain formats. The combination of Shadow Tag and Gengar's blistering special attack turns it into a trap and destroy specialist. Few Pokémon embody the concept of inevitability like Mega Gengar does. Once it appears, escape is no longer an option. Thematically, this ability makes perfect sense. Mega Gengar, with its spectral physiology tied visually to the earth beneath it, represents a ghost that latches onto its target. It doesn't simply haunt from afar, it locks onto its victim and refuses to let go. This is a strong contrast to regular Gengar, who flits around environments, creating harmless mischief or scaring travelers for fun. Mega Gengar's form suggests it has crossed the threshold into something closer to supernatural seriousness. It looks less like a creature and more like a presence, a manifestation of pure, haunting power. Another striking detail is its coloration. Where Gengar is purple and Haunter is violet, Mega Gengar becomes almost stark white with subtle gradients, giving it a ghastly, bone-like appearance. This palette shift highlights how Mega Evolution changes Gengar's relationship to light and shadow. It becomes something that looks like it stepped directly out of negative space. Even in battle animations, Mega Gengar seems to distort the environment around it subtly, as though light bends or trembles near its form. Fans often interpret the white coloration as symbolizing that Mega Gengar is no longer hiding in the shadows. Instead, it has brought its haunting energy fully into the open, revealing its true power. Its lore continues to deepen the idea that Mega Gengar straddles the boundary between worlds. Some Pokédex entries imply that Mega Gengar listens for voices from beyond, or that it can detect dimensional disturbances. Others describe it as capable of pulling people into the shadows, or even coming from the other side to drag prey into its realm. While these descriptions lean dramatic, they reinforce the central theme. Mega Gengar is not just a ghost-type Pokémon, it is a ghost manifesting fully, no longer bound by the need to pretend or hide. In battle, Mega Gengar is an offensive powerhouse. Its special attack skyrockets, allowing it to fire off devastating moves like Shadow Ball, Sludge Bomb, Focus Blast, and Destiny Bond. The last move in particular synergizes terrifyingly with Shadow Tag. Opponents cannot switch out, and if they take Mega Gengar down with them, they often get dragged into fainting as well. This creates a dangerous strategic tension. Do you risk trying to defeat Mega Gengar and potentially lose your own Pokémon? Or do you try to stall, knowing you cannot escape? Mega Gengar forces decisions that are uncomfortable, which aligns perfectly with its theme as a Pokémon that embodies psychological pressure. Its speed is another highlight. Mega Gengar becomes one of the fastest ghost types ever introduced, allowing it to strike before most opponents have the chance to respond. This gives it unmatched, sweeping potential. Paired with its powerful move pool, Mega Gengar's speed ensures that even bulky or well-prepared teams struggle to withstand its onslaught for long. The only thing limiting it in competitive play is its frailty, but even that becomes less relevant when it often eliminates threats before they can strike back. Lore surrounding Mega Gengar's behavior paints it as a Pokémon that feels complete only in its Mega form. Some interpretations of the Pokédex hint that Gengar wishes to return to another plane of existence, a kind of spectral home, and Mega Evolution temporarily gives it access to that state. This creates a bittersweet angle. Some trainers see Mega Gengar not as becoming crueler, but as becoming truer to itself. It feels empowered, unrestricted, and aware. Mega Evolution's temporary nature suggests that Gengar longs for a level of existence it cannot sustain, adding nuance to an otherwise fearsome design. In animation, Mega Gengar has one of the most memorable transformations. During battles in the anime, when Gengar Mega evolves, the ground beneath it breaks apart with ghostly energy, and the Pokémon seems to sink into its own shadow before rising again in its stark white form. The third eye opens dramatically, scanning the battlefield with a supernatural glow. Its grin widens. It no longer bobs or floats. Instead, it moves with eerie smoothness, gliding across surfaces rather than stepping. Even its laughter becomes sharper, echoing subtly as though multiple voices speak at once. Its role in the Pokémon Adventures manga is equally impactful. Mega Gengar is depicted as a terrifying force capable of altering the environment around it. In one storyline, the presence of Mega Gengar warps the air and creates shadow distortions that interfere with nearby Pokémon. It becomes not simply a combatant, but a phenomenon. The manga often emphasizes that Mega Evolution amplifies a Pokémon's natural impulses. For Gengar, the impulse to haunt becomes far more tangible, creating scenes that feel ominous and atmospheric. Despite how fearsome it can appear, Mega Gengar's motivations remain rooted in loyalty. Many fans misinterpret its sinister expression as malicious intent directed at its trainer, but official sources clarify this isn't the case. Mega Gengar's intensity comes from devotion. Its fierce grin and third eye reflect heightened focus, not disobedience. It wants to act immediately on its trainer's emotions, a trait that can be both powerful and overwhelming. This concept appears consistently across lore. Mega Gengar becomes a reflection of a trainer's will, amplified to extremes. Its relationship to Ghastly and Haunter becomes more interesting when considering Mega Evolution. The Ghastly line has always been associated with mischief, illusion, and thrill-seeking behavior. Ghastly surrounds targets with poison gas, Haunter delights in startling people, and Gengar plays pranks in dark places. Mega Evolution flips that narrative from playful to predatory. It doesn't erase Gengar's origins, but shows what happens when a Pokemon's traits are magnified beyond normal limits. For Gengar, this means becoming the ultimate haunting entity, no longer a trickster, but a specter with purpose. When examining Mega Gengar's stats, its overwhelming offensive presence becomes even more apparent. Its special attack reaches levels comparable to legendary Pokémon. Its speed allows it to outpace nearly all non-boosted opponents, while its defenses remain low. Its offensive capability is so overwhelming that it rarely needs to withstand many hits. Teams built around Mega Gengar typically function by controlling the flow of the battle, trapping key threats early, and dismantling the opponent's strategy before it can fully form. Mega Gengar also stands out visually among Mega Evolutions. Many Megas expand upon design themes: more armor, more spikes, more energy. Mega Gengar, however, simplifies. It becomes flatter, sharper, more symbolic. It looks like a shadow stepping out of 2 dimensions into 3. The Anchor the Ground motif suggests ancient seal imagery, almost like Gengar is breaking free from a spiritual limit. That symbolic clarity has made Mega Gengar one of the most discussed Megas in fan analysis. It represents what happens when a Pokemon's deepest nature is brought to the surface without filter. Its animation in Pokémon Unite, Pokémon Masters EX, and other modern games continues to reinforce this eerie but charismatic personality. Mega Gengar doesn't snarl or roar. It smirks, it slides. It flickers between visibility and invisibility. These details ensure that no matter how intense the form becomes, Gengar's personality remains intact, mischievous, confident, and unpredictable, but now with much sharper edges. Mega Gengar is also one of the few Mega Evolutions strongly connected to concepts of morality. Some Pokédex entries discuss its desire to drag prey into the afterlife, while others present it more sympathetically, implying it longs for connection or fears loneliness. Fans often interpret Mega Gengar as a conflicted creature, terrifying in power, yet deeply emotional beneath the surface. It is a ghost, after all, and ghosts in Pokémon lore often symbolize unresolved desire or incomplete journeys. From a storytelling perspective, Mega Gengar is the perfect evolution of the line's themes. Ghastly represents mystery, Haunter represents fear, Gengar represents mischief, and Mega Gengar represents inevitability. It is the full realization of the haunting concept, where presence becomes inescapable and emotions become magnified. This gives it a mythic quality among Mega Evolutions, something more narrative than mechanical. When Mega Evolution was eventually de-emphasized in later generations, many players expressed disappointment specifically because of Pokémon like Mega Gengar. Its design left such an imprint that removing the mechanic felt like removing a facet of Gengar's identity. Even today, Mega Gengar remains one of the most beloved and recognizable Mega forms in the series, consistently ranking near the top of fan polls and design breakdowns. In the end, Mega Gengar represents transformation not as power, but as expression. It is Gengar stripped of restraint, revealing the intensity it always kept hidden behind laughter and tricks. It shows loyalty magnified to obsession, awareness expanded to omniscience, and presence deepened into something supernatural. Whether viewed as eerie or awe-inspiring, Mega Gengar remains unforgettable. A ghost that refuses to be ignored, a shadow that demands to be seen, and one of the most iconic transformations in all of Pokémon history. Mega Gyarados represents one of the most dramatic and imposing transformations introduced with the arrival of Mega Evolution in Pokémon X and Y, taking a Pokémon already known for raw destructive strength and elevating it into something far more controlled, deliberate, and terrifyingly powerful. While regular Gyarados embodies chaos and rage born from a once helpless Magikarp, Mega Gyarados is the opposite, a creature that has fully embraced its power, channeled it, and refined it into something relentlessly purposeful. This shift from frenzied destruction to calculated dominance is reflected in everything about its lore, its behavior, and the mythology surrounding it. Where ordinary Gyarados is feared for unpredictability, Mega Gyarados is feared for certainty, the certainty that whatever it chooses to strike simply will not withstand it. The most defining change during Mega Evolution is its new typing, Water Dark, transforming Gyarados from a creature driven by uncontrollable fury into one fueled by precision and malice. This dark typing isn't meant to imply evil in the cartoonish sense, but rather an intentional, sharpened nature. It represents ambition, instinct, and a strategic edge that regular Gyarados never possessed. Trainers often note that when their Gyarados Mega evolves for the first time, the Pokémon's aura shifts drastically. It doesn't roar wildly or thrash around like usual. Instead, it becomes eerily calm, its eyes narrowed with almost predatory clarity. This stillness is often considered scarier than its rage. Mega Gyarados is no longer a force of nature, it is a weapon. Physically, Mega Gyarados grows thicker, more heavily armored, and noticeably more serpentine. Its body resembles ancient depictions of sea dragons found in Sinnoh and Johto folklore, long, muscular, and crowned with layered fins that resemble war banners. Some Pokédex entries describe Mega Gyarados as the Tyrant of the Seas, a title earned not just through size, but through the way it commands the waters around it. When submerged, its movements create pressure waves strong enough to distort the surface, a phenomenon sailors once misinterpreted as signs of underwater earthquakes. Several myths across the regions mention a black serpent emerging during storms or naval battles, punishing those who angered the sea. These descriptions closely match Mega Gyarados, despite being far older than Mega Evolution itself, implying that historical sightings may have been Gyarados pushed to extreme emotional states resembling its Mega form. One of the most fascinating aspects of Mega Gyarados is how its lore contrasts with Magikarp's. Magikarp is known across the Pokémon world as weak, uncoordinated, and often mocked. The transformation into Gyarados already symbolizes dramatic growth through perseverance, but Mega Gyarados amplifies this idea into something mythic, a total rejection of its past limitations. Its strength becomes so great that it's often cited as one of the most potent Mega Evolutions ever recorded, rivaled only by threats like Mega Mewtwo and Mega Rayquaza. Thematically, Mega Gyarados represents not just evolution, but transcendence, rising beyond ridicule, beyond primal instinct, and becoming something unstoppable. Trainers using Mega Gyarados in battle quickly understand why it has such a fearsome reputation. Its attack stat skyrockets to devastating levels, and its dark typing gives it access to moves that match its new temperament. Crunch, Payback, Darkest Lariat, and especially Taunt, which fits its confrontational presence perfectly. On the water type side, moves like Waterfall and Aqua Tail become even stronger thanks to its sharpened muscle structure. But perhaps the most infamous tactic is the combination of Dragon Dance followed by Mega Evolution. Before Mega Evolving, regular Gyarados keeps its flying typing, protecting it from ground attacks and letting it boost safely. Then, after a single dance, Mega Gyarados emerges with terrifying speed and power, often sweeping teams before they can adjust. Because of this, Mega Gyarados dominated competitive play throughout several generations, occupying a powerful niche as a late-game cleaner or a bulky offensive threat. Its bulk shouldn't be underestimated either. The Mega form's thicker scales offer enhanced protection from physical attacks, and its massive special defense allows it to tank hits that would obliterate other offensive Pokémon. This combination of high offense, survivability, and unpredictability made it one of the most respected Megas in tournament formats. From an ecological standpoint, Mega Gyarados behaves differently from its standard form. While regular Gyarados is known for rampaging wildly when provoked, Mega Gyarados becomes eerily composed. Some field researchers claim that Mega Gyarados rarely attacks without purpose. Instead, it silently patrols its waters, asserting dominance and eliminating only what it perceives as direct threats. This unusual restraint has led some professors to theorize that Mega Evolution unlocks dormant intelligence or ancient instincts similar to mythical sea guardians. The notion that Mega Gyarados remembers something from deep evolutionary history adds a haunting layer to its character. Design-wise, Mega Gyarados incorporates influences from carp to dragon mythology, with special emphasis on Chinese and Japanese folklore surrounding koi fish that ascend waterfalls before transforming into divine dragons. But unlike the elegant dragons of many legends, Mega Gyarados took inspiration from armored river serpents and aquatic demons, resulting in a design that blends divinity and terror. Its new jaw structure resembles the hooked mandibles of deep-sea predators, while its dorsal fins flare outward like regalia worn by ancient warlords. Artists behind the design confirmed that Mega Gyarados represents the idea of a tyrant king rising from the depths. Interestingly, one of the more subtle changes during Mega Evolution is its swim style. Regular Gyarados thrashes violently, often using brute force to propel itself. Mega Gyarados, however, glides. It moves with efficiency, conserving energy until the perfect moment to strike. Swimmers near lakes or oceans where Mega Gyarados have been spotted report a sudden chilling stillness before the Pokémon surfaces, as though the water itself were holding its breath. The ability to subdue the surrounding environment reinforces Mega Gyarados' image as an apex predator whose presence reshapes the ecosystem. There are also accounts in the Pokémon world of Mega Gyarados appearing during natural disasters. When storms surge or tides shift dramatically, Gyarados are known to congregate, reacting to changes in atmospheric pressure. Some researchers hypothesize that Mega Evolution amplifies this sensitivity. This would explain legends of storm serpents accompanying hurricanes, tsunamis, or volcanic eruptions. While modern science attributes these events to geological and meteorological forces, ancient texts insist the seas themselves were responding to creatures like Mega Gyarados. Whether symbolic or literal, this lore solidifies its identity as a Pokémon tied deeply to natural upheaval. One unexpected trait introduced with Mega Evolution is Mega Gyarados' heightened territorial loyalty. Regular Gyarados wander unpredictably, drifting across regions or settling temporarily. Mega Gyarados, however, becomes anchored to a chosen body of water, defending it fiercely from intruders. Trainers who Mega evolve their Gyarados frequently discover that the Pokémon returns to the same lake, river, or coastline again and again, almost ritualistically. This shift in behavior suggests a nesting instinct awakened by Mega Evolution, not for breeding, but for establishing a domain worthy of its newfound power. Another fascinating detail is Mega Gyarados' relationship with light. Its scales, though darker, reflect moonlight with a metallic sheen, creating shimmering ripples across the water at night. Fishermen have mistaken these reflections for lantern boats or lost travelers, not realizing they were witnessing a massive Pokémon gliding silently beneath the surface. This visual phenomenon has inspired folklore labeling Mega Gyarados as a moonlit sovereign, a being that patrols waterways when the moon is high. Interestingly, some artwork from the Kalos region depicts Mega Gyarados coiling around moonlit cliffs, suggesting that its mega form may have long been part of regional myths even before Mega Evolution was scientifically understood. Trainers also note emotional changes. While Gyarados is notoriously volatile, Mega Gyarados displays a cold focus. It becomes less reactive to minor annoyances and more attuned to the intentions of its trainer. Some describe this as a sharpening of its loyalty, not the affectionate loyalty of Pokémon like Arcanine or Pikachu, but the unwavering loyalty of a battlefield commander. Mega Gyarados listens. It evaluates. It executes commands with precision rather than brute instinct. This transformation of temperament is one of the clearest examples of how Mega Evolution doesn't just change a Pokémon's body, it changes its mind. When Mega Evolution was introduced, Gyarados was one of the earliest Pokémon chosen for a Mega form because its lore already revolved around transformation. The designers felt it deserved a final evolution that fully embraced the potential hinted at throughout its existence. The result was a Pokémon that doesn't just get stronger, it becomes truer to the myth that inspired it. Mega Gyarados feels like the form Gyarados was always meant to reach, the culmination of the dramatic metamorphosis that began with Magikarp's humble existence. And yet, despite all this power, Mega Gyarados has limits. Because Mega Evolution is temporary, sustaining its immense physical and mental state requires incredible energy. Trainers who push Mega Gyarados too far risk exhausting it quickly. After battle, the Pokémon often requires long periods of rest, returning to its calm yet intimidating demeanor. Some theorize that Mega Gyarados' immense power strains the natural balance between its water and dark energies, making prolonged use physically taxing. This limitation is likely what prevents Mega Gyarados from overwhelming every ecosystem it touches. Its dominance is immense, but brief, like a passing storm that reshapes everything before retreating. Ultimately, Mega Gyarados stands as one of the most complete Mega Evolutions ever created, thematically, visually, and mechanically. It elevates Gyarados from chaotic brute to disciplined juggernaut, turning one of the most iconic Pokémon in history into something even more legendary. Whether gliding silently beneath moonlit waves or towering above the battlefield with eyes fixed on its target, Mega Gyarados leaves an impression few Mega Evolutions can rival. It embodies transformation, ambition, and raw elemental authority, making its place among Mega Evolution's greatest forms undeniable. Mega Houndoom represents one of the most dramatic and striking transformations introduced when Mega Evolution debuted in Pokémon X and Y, taking the already fierce Houndoom and turning it into a creature that looks like it stepped straight out of ancient mythology. Everything about Mega Houndoom's appearance is designed to feel like a demonic war beast, a Pokemon that doesn't just grow stronger through Mega Evolution, but one that visually expresses the raw heat building inside its body. The bones that were once decorative along its back fuse into blazing, molten spikes, and the horns on its head lengthen into scythe-like crescents curved backward in a more intimidating shape. Even its tail glows like heated steel, and its claws sharpen as if forged in volcanic fire. It's one of the Mega Evolutions that fans instantly recognized as a complete design, one that fulfills all the themes Houndoom originally represented. Mega Houndoom's lore paints it as a Pokemon whose internal fire becomes almost impossible to contain once it undergoes its transformation. The act of Mega Evolution superheats the fiery toxins flowing through its body, generating temperatures much higher than ordinary flames. Its Pokédex mentions that this fire is so intense it causes pain to Mega Houndoom, the power inside it overflowing faster than its body can safely handle. Many trainers interpret this lore detail as a sign that Mega Houndoom represents the dangerous side of power, that strength always comes with cost, and that the fiercest flames burn the wielder as well. This makes Mega Houndoom thematically unique. It isn't just empowered, it's overcharged, forced to harness energy that pushes it to the edge of its physical limits. Despite this internal strain, Mega Houndoom becomes significantly more dangerous in battle. Its ability, Solar Power, dramatically boosts its special attack under harsh sunlight, which synergizes perfectly with fire-type moves like Flamethrower, Fire Blast, and Dark Pulse when used competitively. Mega Houndoom's special attack skyrockets to one of the highest among fire types once boosted, giving it enough force to overwhelm even bulkier opponents. The cost, of course, is that Solar Power drains its HP, reinforcing the idea that Mega Houndoom's strength is a double-edged sword. This mechanical drawback mirrors its lore perfectly. It is strongest when its power burns brightest, yet that brightness consumes it over time. Mega Houndoom also gains a notable speed increase, allowing it to move before many opponents it previously struggled against. Combined with its new stat distribution, it transitions from Houndoom's typical mid-range offensive role into a high-pressure wall breaker capable of sweeping unprepared teams. Its dark typing remains incredibly useful even after Mega Evolution, giving it access to stab, Dark Pulse, and nasty plot strategies that turn it into a devastating special attacker. While some other Mega Evolutions emphasize bulk or versatility, Mega Houndoom focuses on one thing: overwhelming force delivered as quickly as possible before its HP begins to decline. From a design standpoint, Mega Houndoom stands as one of the strongest examples of how Mega Evolution was intended to push Pokemon designs toward their thematic extremes. Houndoom was already based loosely on a Hellhound, but Mega Houndoom amplifies that concept dramatically. Its skeletal armor grows sharper, resembling the exposed bones of a mythical demon hound. The glowing red rings along its body signal pressure points where heat radiates outward, and vents along its back release wisps of smoke just like embers burning through charred wood. Even its posture changes. It stands taller, its neck elongated and more regal, as if embodying the fiery pride of a creature that believes itself indomitable. Houndoom's lore in previous generations tied it to superstition, a Pokemon whose howl was said to spell doom, and whose flames could cause pain long after battle. Mega Houndoom takes that folklore and elevates it into something legendary. Its howl becomes sharper, echoing like a blast of heated wind, and ancient stories in the Pokemon world might describe it as a guardian of volcanic regions or a harbinger seen during intense heat waves. Some fans even theorize that Mega Houndoom resembles the mythical dogs from various world mythologies, creatures that acted as guardians of underworlds, volcanoes, or sacred flames. Its mega form seems to blend those inspirations into a single design. One detail that fans often appreciate is the glowing, magma-like pattern running through Mega Houndoom's horns and body. This effect draws inspiration from metal heated to the point of softening, giving the impression that Mega Houndoom is operating at temperatures few living creatures could endure. It reinforces its dark, fire typing perfectly, a creature that embodies both hellfire and unrestrained ferocity. Even its bite becomes more dangerous under Mega Evolution, with lore suggesting that its jaws can melt metal when using fire-based attacks. That means moves like Fire Fang or Inferno become far more threatening than their standard animations often imply. In terms of personality shifts, Mega Houndoom is described as becoming more intense, its focus sharpening along with its power. Trainers who have bonded with a Houndoom often say that Mega Evolution makes it more alert, more responsive, and more determined in battle. Unlike some Mega Evolutions that become wild or overwhelming, Mega Houndoom channels its newfound energy with precision, as if it recognizes that losing control would mean burning itself out faster. This makes it one of the more disciplined Mega Evolutions, despite its fierce appearance, showing that looks alone don't dictate behavior. Mega Houndoom's role in competitive battling peaked during formats where sunlight-boosting strategies were supported. Paired with Ninetales or Groudon, Mega Houndoom became a terrifying sweeper whose boosted fire-type attacks shredded through steel and grass types with ease. Its dark typing allowed it to counter psychic-oriented teams, and its speed tier let it outrun many offensive threats. While later generations and format restrictions eventually reduced its prominence, Mega Houndoom's presence always forced players to respect sun-boosted fire types. Even in generations where Megas were removed, fans often cited Mega Houndoom as one of the designs they missed most because of its identity and atmosphere. Mega Houndoom's place in pop culture has grown steadily as well. It is often depicted in fan art, standing atop rocky cliffs, flames leaking from its mouth as storm clouds swirl overhead. Its silhouette, with its backward-pointing horns and angular skeleton-like armor, is one of the most recognizable Mega forms. Many fans consider it one of the coolest or edgiest designs in the Mega roster, but not in an over-designed way. It keeps the spirit of Houndoom intact while elevating it visually. Pokémon merchandise featuring Mega Houndoom, including figures and TCG cards, highlights its molten, glowing accents and intimidating posture. Speaking of the TCG, Mega Houndoom EX made an appearance in the Breakthrough expansion, where it was portrayed unleashing pillars of fire across rocky landscapes. Its card abilities emphasized relentless burning damage, mirroring the lore that Mega Houndoom's flames grow hotter the longer it fights. The artwork captured that molten, skeletal look perfectly, making it a fan favorite among collectors who appreciate Pokémon with intense, fiery aesthetics. From a thematic standpoint, Mega Houndoom arguably represents the dangers and allure of pushing power to its limit. Mega Evolution was introduced as a temporary form of evolution, achievable only through a strong bond between Pokémon and trainer. But with Mega Houndoom, that bond must sustain immense heat and pressure, making their relationship feel all the more significant. Mega Houndoom isn't just stronger, it's transformed into a being that walks the fine line between mastery and self-destruction. That delicate balance makes it one of the deepest Mega Evolution concepts from a narrative perspective. In the context of Johto Pokemon receiving Mega Evolutions, Mega Houndoom was surprising and exciting. Many Johto species were given forms that highlighted their distinct identities. Ampharos becoming a majestic dragon, Tyranitar turning into a living avalanche, and Houndoom's Mega form followed suit by embracing its darker, more infernal side. Fans of Houndoom appreciated that Mega Evolution gave it a way to compete with stronger fire types introduced in later generations without changing its personality. Instead of reinventing Houndoom, it refined it, enhancing everything that made the original cool. Ultimately, Mega Houndoom remains a favorite because it strikes the perfect balance between visual spectacle and thematic meaning. It's powerful but flawed, elegant but dangerous, loyal yet fierce. Its fire burns so intensely that even it feels the heat, a reminder that every ounce of strength comes with weight. And in battle, its flames can light up the entire field, overwhelming opponents with speed, precision, and raw destructive force. Even long after Mega Evolution was removed from mainline gameplay, Mega Houndoom continues to be a design fans celebrate. It represents a moment in Pokemon history when the series pushed creative boundaries, experimenting with new forms and exploring new lore possibilities. And just like its internal fire, the passion fans have for Mega Houndoom hasn't dimmed. It only grows stronger with time. Mega Ampharos represents one of the most unexpected and dramatic transformations introduced when Mega Evolutions debuted in Pokémon X and Y, a moment that redefined how players viewed certain long-established species. Ampharos, originally known for its calm demeanor, soft light, and stable electric typing, underwent a stunning reimagining when exposed to its Ampharosite. What was once a gentle beacon, Pokemon became something mythic, a towering, draconic creature with flowing white wool, radiant orbs, and newfound dragon typing that reshaped its identity entirely. Many fans still recall the first time they saw Mega Ampharos, the elegant mane, the glowing tail orb, the confident, almost divine posture that gave it an energy closer to a legendary Pokemon than a typical evolution. It was a statement from Game Freak that any Pokemon, not just fan favorites, could be elevated into something spectacular. The original Ampharos line was always unique among electric-type Pokemon. It didn't rely on speed the way most electric types did. Instead, Ampharos embodied power, patience, and reliability. Mareep and Flaffy introduced players to its wool-based electricity, its gentle nature, and its role as a light source during storms or in dark environments. When Ampharos evolved, it shed its wool entirely, becoming a sleek, smooth-skinned creature whose glowing orb acted as a literal lighthouse. That theme of radiance carried forward into Mega Ampharos, but now amplified, transformed from a guiding light into a heavenly beacon. Mega Evolution didn't override Ampharos' identity, it expanded it. It became the ultimate expression of what Ampharos represented from the beginning: illumination, warmth, and unstoppable power. The moment Ampharos Mega evolves, its wool regrows dramatically, flowing down its back and around its chest like a cape or mane. This wool is not for warmth. It is a conductor of immense electrical and draconic energy. Pokédex notes describe Mega Ampharos as radiating a kind of intense, shimmering aura, the result of its electric and dragon energies merging throughout its body. The orbs on its forehead and tail glow with even more brilliance, pulsing with power that rivals lighthouses, stars, or even distant meteors. Trainers who stand beside Mega Ampharos sometimes report feeling a gentle static hum in the air, like the calm before lightning strikes. This combination of elegance and overwhelming strength makes Mega Ampharos one of the most visually striking Mega Evolutions in the franchise. Mega Ampharos gains the Dragon type, a decision that initially surprised many players, yet thematically makes perfect sense. Dragons in Pokémon often represent ancient elemental power, beings who command primal forces like wind, fire, or time. Ampharos, as a light-bearing Pokémon capable of guiding ships and illuminating entire cities, has always symbolized mastery over a fundamental element, light itself. In mythology across the Pokémon world, dragons are often associated with celestial bodies and cosmic phenomena, so Mega Ampharos's transformation into a dragon aligns with this mythic imagery. Its flowing mane resembles a constellation streak or a mythical eastern dragon, while its confident, upright stance evokes ancient guardians. The new typing didn't just change its role in battle, it elevated Ampharos into a creature of legend within its own world. Statistically, Mega Ampharos becomes a powerhouse. Its special attack skyrockets to one of the highest in the entire Mega roster, turning it into a devastating special attacker capable of overwhelming opponents with both electric and dragon-type moves. Dragon Pulse, Thunderbolt, and Signal Beam become tools of immense destruction when backed by Mega Ampharos's raw power. It loses no special attack potential compared to the strongest Pokémon in competitive play, and in fact, its offensive stats rival some legendary Pokémon. Yet Mega Ampharos also retains exceptional bulk, allowing it to withstand hits that would easily defeat other electric types. It is not a fragile cannon, it is a fortress that fires lasers. Despite this power, Mega Ampharos never loses Ampharos's gentle demeanor. Its facial expression remains soft, wise, almost serene. Generations of fans have pointed out how its look contrasts with its destructive capabilities. A calm guardian wielding astronomical power, this characteristic has earned Mega Ampharos one of the most beloved personalities among Mega Evolutions. Where Mega Charizard X radiates intensity, Mega Lucario embodies focus, and Mega Gyarados exudes ferocity, Mega Ampharos seems almost peaceful. It's a reminder that not all power is meant to intimidate. Some power exists simply to illuminate. Mega Ampharos also drew attention for its unique fusion of themes: wool, electricity, dragons, and light. At first glance, these concepts seem unrelated, but in execution, they paint a cohesive picture. The wool symbolizes growth and transformation. Electric typing symbolizes energy and illumination, and dragon typing symbolizes ancient strength. When combined, they form a creature that feels both celestial and grounded, both mythical and familiar. Fans often cite Mega Ampharos as an example of how Mega Evolutions expanded the creative boundaries of Pokémon design. It wasn't about making Pokémon edgy, it was about unlocking hidden potential within forgotten or underappreciated species. One of the most charming details of Mega Ampharos's identity is its lore connection to lighthouses. In several regions, Ampharos serve as living beacons to guide ships, and the idea of Mega Ampharos amplifying this role is evocative. In cities with coastal heritage, such as Olivine City in Johto, Mega Ampharos could theoretically create light powerful enough to pierce even the densest fog or storm. Some fans imagine Mega Ampharos participating in old maritime legends, being mistaken for a guiding spirit or a celestial signal. In a world filled with Pokémon myths, Mega Ampharos fits neatly into the role of a divine guide, a creature whose radiance brings safety and clarity. Mega Ampharos also boasts one of the most memorable cries in the game, deep and resonant compared to Ampharos's original sound. Its posture becomes more confident and majestic, with its mane cascading behind it like the tail of a comet. The addition of horns gives it an even more draconic silhouette, reinforcing its newfound identity as a legendary light guardian. These horns appear to play a role in channeling electrical and draconic energy, acting like conductors that help it regulate the immense power coursing through its body. In competitive formats, Mega Ampharos found a niche as a bulky pivot and unstoppable special attacker. Its electric, dragon typing grants numerous resistances, and its ability, Mold Breaker, allows it to ignore abilities that would otherwise hinder its attacks. This makes moves like Thunderbolt and Dragon Pulse incredibly potent. Pokémon that rely on Levitate, for example, can no longer avoid ground-type attacks when Mega Ampharos is on the field. That alone opened up entirely new strategies for players during the Mega Evolution era. Even after Mega Evolution stopped being a focus in later games, Mega Ampharos remained a fan favorite for competitive theory crafting and creative battling. Its design also carries emotional nostalgia. For many players, Ampharos was one of the earliest electric types they used in Johto during Pokémon Gold, Silver, and Crystal. Trainers who raised Mareep from early roots felt a connection to the line, watching it grow from a fluffy sheep into a sleek lighthouse Pokémon. Mega Evolution allowed fans to revisit that connection in a new, exciting way, honoring the past while offering something fresh. The reveal of Mega Ampharos at Pokémon Game Show 2013 surprised and delighted players who never expected this evolution line to receive such dramatic treatment. And the fan nickname Fab Pharaohs, referencing its glamorous flowing mane, quickly became widespread. Beyond aesthetics and power, Mega Ampharos subtly represents the theme of hidden potential, a trait often present in electric types, but expressed here with extraordinary creativity. Ampharos, a Pokémon that originally lacked speed and flashiness, transforms into something magnificent not by discarding its identity, but by embracing its inner energy. Its wool, once a humble source of static electricity, becomes a majestic conductor of cosmic power. Its tail orb, once a lighthouse beacon, becomes a star-like radiant core. Its posture, once gentle and reserved, becomes confident and regal. Mega Evolution didn't change Ampharos, it revealed its true form. The lore behind Mega Evolution itself ties beautifully into Mega Ampharos's transformation. Mega Evolutions were introduced as temporary but powerful states triggered by the deep bond and shared energy between trainer and Pokémon. In Mega Ampharos's case, that bond unleashes dormant draconic energy within the species, suggesting that Ampharos has ancient origins tied to dragon lineage or celestial forces. While this isn't explicitly stated in any Pokédex entry, the implication is clear. Ampharos contained legendary potential all along, just waiting for the right moment to shine. Mega Ampharos's quiet confidence makes it stand apart from more aggressive Mega Evolutions. It doesn't roar or posture, it simply stands radiant, calm, and unwavering. The glow of its orbs and wool create a halo effect, and the longer you observe it, the more mythic its presence becomes. It looks like a creature that could appear in ancient murals, guiding civilizations through storms or offering light to travelers in forgotten ruins. Even its serene expression hints at wisdom far beyond its species' original portrayal. In terms of personality, Mega Ampharos is often portrayed in media as gentle and kind-hearted. The Pokémon anime made only limited use of Mega Ampharos, but each appearance emphasized its elegant nature. It didn't seek battle unnecessarily. It acted when needed. Its glowing presence was always shown as hopeful rather than overwhelming, demonstrating that Mega Evolutions weren't just about raw power, they were about amplifying a Pokemon's core spirit. Mega Ampharos remains one of the most beloved designs from the Mega Evolution era, celebrated for its creativity, visual storytelling, and unexpected thematic depth. It reminds fans that any Pokemon, even one long overlooked, can ascend into something breathtaking with the right inspiration. Its elegance, its mythic energy, and its radiant design continue to inspire artwork, cosplay, and fan projects across the community. And above all, Mega Ampharos stands as proof that the light within a Pokemon, literal and metaphorical, can grow brighter than anyone ever imagined.